My friends, as usual, there's a lot to tell you about. I'll tell you about my interrupted hiatus and how that's going. I'll tell you about the sawmill, and in fact, I'll give you a detailed look at the sawmill. And I'll tell you about some visitors I've got coming today right after this. Hello my friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Workshop. It is Monday, April 10th. Man, have I been busy working on that sawmill. And every few minutes, when I get a few minutes, I work on this. So I've got this in pretty good shape though. I'll tell you about that first. So this guitar belongs to a friend of mine, and the story on this is that he took it to a Martin factory authorized place, and they said, nope, don't want it, don't want to deal with it. And so he took it to another place, and the guy says, yeah, I can do that, no problem. I'll take that bridge off and put it back on there for you. Well, I think 11 days went by, and he called them and to see what the progress was, and they said, nope, I can't do it. You're going to have to come and get it. So now I'm the third person to look at it. It took me 20 minutes to get the bridge off, and probably another 20 minutes to clean it, and maybe 30 minutes to clean it and, you know, get it glued back on. So I'm into it for less than an hour right now, and I figure it's going to, you know, to do a thorough job, it's going to take me another hour to make sure it's all set up perfectly and get a new saddle made, because the saddle that came out of it was broken half. I don't know if I did that, or because these are typically glued in, by the way, these kinds of saddles. I don't think I'll be gluing mine in when I put it in there, because I'll make it fit perfectly tight. I don't see any reason to glue it in. Less than 2 hours work's not too bad for completely removing a bridge, putting it back on, making a whole new saddle, and doing a full setup. When it was refused by 2 other shops. Well, I told you that I did a complete remake on my sawmill, and a little more remake than I was expecting to do, I'll have to be honest. But rather than tell you that right now, I'll just let you watch this video, and I tell you all about it in the video. Enjoy. Well, my friends, here's the current status of the sawmill. You can see there where the wheel has been pulled off, so that part was fixed. You can see the boards on top of the center sections there, all the wood on top of there. Those are the risers that I wanted to raise it up a little bit. That was another improvement. You can see the handle here I made, which was a big improvement, because all I had before was this L, and you had to put a pipe on there to tighten it up, and now I can tighten it with just the handle, which is really nice. I also did some more improvements in this area. You can probably see the little brass slider in there. Actually, these I moved back for more. This is a tilt to tilt the wheel back and forth, and these used to be located about here, and that wasn't enough leverage, so I moved it to the back, and I moved this one to the front, and I also put the brass slider in there too. So these things tighten up on brass now, which I think will slide better, because the steel on steel didn't slide very well. I'm working on, you know, angling this wheel and getting it working better, even though it worked pretty well. You know, I completely serviced the motor, changed the oil, did all the good stuff there, got a new drive belt for it, put on a much bigger battery. The surprising thing that took the most time so far, believe it or not, was these bearings. I made these from scratch, and they have bearings on both sides, and I noticed that they were wobbly when I took the blade off. This is a new blade, by the way. I noticed when I took the blade off that these were wobbly, and I thought, well, they shouldn't be wobbling. And sure enough, they had quit spinning, and they wore the bolts out. Now, those are special made bolts. They're left-handed threads, and they're the right length to hold that and all that. So I had to custom make 2 new bolts. Then I had to clean those bearings because I didn't have any replacement bearings. And so it took me 5 or 6 hours, maybe longer than that, to clean those bearings and get them working again. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not worth that. I understand that. You know, you're preaching to the choir. I
ordered a bunch of new bearings for replacements for the future. I won't clean them anymore because that just took forever. They're sealed bearings, and these are sealed with the steel on the front and on the back. I was afraid to try to pry the steel out. I was afraid I'd bust it. Where the plastic ones that are sealed with plastic, you can pop the plastic off and clean them much easier. Even though the plastic ones are so cheap, I just bought a bunch of them. I bought like 16 of them or so, and I'll just keep an eye on it and replace them as I need to in the future. You know, it amazes me that sealed bearings are not sealed. They're not sealed at all. I mean, in my opinion, I have the same problem on my bandsaw. The sealed bearings on there clog up so fast. So if anybody has a solution for that problem, I would love to hear it. Put it in the comments. But anyway, everything's real good. That little motor is an 18-horse motor. I bought it off of either eBay or Amazon. You can see the brand there, Duramax. I'll show you the front. And I got to tell you what, I'm impressed with that motor. It's got electric start and starts right up. I've had it now for 4 or 5 years, and yeah, I've never had a problem with it. That's a great little motor. And it was only, the cool thing, with electric start and everything, 18 horse, it was only like $319. I'm sure they're much more than that now because everything has gone up, but it was an incredible buy. I would buy that again. You can see my little winch up there. That's probably, if I get to the point of doing anything else, I'll probably find a way to put a bigger winch on that. That winch is kind of maxed out for what it's doing. It seems to handle it okay. That's actually my second winch. I used to store this outside with a tarp over it, and the water got into the winch and froze and busted the winch. So that didn't work. But anyway, everything works pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with it. This is a two-way switch which throws it up or down. If you listen, that's up, that's down. So, you know, you can raise and lower the whole head just with that switch there. Now, it is slow. That's the problem. Yeah, it's not the best design that way, but, you know, for a homemade machine and literally building it on the seat of your pants without any plans or anything, it really couldn't have turned out too much better. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing a little more detail on the sawmill. I mentioned that I have some visitors coming today. Well, his name is Alex. Alex was here before. He's the one that helped me saw up all those trees that were cut down right around my house. He helped me saw up that 4.5 trailer loads of wood that I burned in about 10 to 12 days, something like that. Less than 2 weeks. I can't believe I burned that much wood, and you know, and it was all green wood too. You would think it would last a little longer being green. But it didn't. It just went right up through the chimney, no problem at all. And we're out of wood now. I mean, I could go get some wood, but I'm just tired of dealing with it. And we're just kind of dealing with the cold in the house. And the house is pretty cold right now. But it warms up in the 80s every day right now, so it's not that bad because we can open the windows and the house warms back up, you know. By morning, though, it's pretty chilly. Anyway, I digress. Alex is coming today, and he's going to help me run the sawmill, I think. His whole family are coming today. So today we may not do too much work since the family will be here. They like to explore and have fun here on the farm. And then Alex himself is going to stay for a couple of days. So for sure, we'll be sawing a lot of the logs that were taken down by the house up there. Most of that's walnut, a little bit of elm. And if we get to it, we're going to saw some oak also. I need to saw the oak so I can replace the floor in my wife's 2-horse trailer. It just never stops. But that's what my hiatus is for, is to catch up on this kind of stuff, and I am way behind. Before I let you go, I just wanted to mention too that, you know, I put that video out on Cash yesterday, and that's the only video in a long time that I specifically said do not monetize. So I didn't monetize that video. And unbeknownst to me, I guess YouTube took it as that means no comments, because it also was set to no comments. Now, I did not do that. I absolutely know for sure. I mean, I put out 1,300 videos or something on that order. I know how to do all that stuff. Believe it or not, I've learned how to do it after 1,300 of them. and I did not touch that area of the video in terms of setting it to no comments. It was a total surprise to me that no one was allowed to comment on it. You know, I realized it after like 600 views and no comments. I said, well, there must be something wrong. So I went in there, started searching. I didn't even know where that part was. It's a separate part you got to open up separately. So I know I didn't open it because I don't have a reason to. I went in there and I enabled comments. After that, then I thought, well, that'll fix it. And sure enough, I started seeing comments, or at least the number of comments, but I couldn't see them. I went in there and tried to see the comments that you all left. Couldn't see them. I don't know where they are. I have no idea what's going on. YouTube did something there. I guarantee it's nothing I did. Just wanted to be clear about that so that you'll know that I'm not totally inept. Anyway, stuff happens. That's going to be about it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you would, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you tomorrow.